Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another Naira Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show. I'm telling you, it's the eve of election day. Goodness gracious me. Wow, what a journey. What a journey it has been to this point. I must say that I'm still disappointed that there's 5 parties that are registered, but only 2 were highlighted in the debate. Was this by design? Was this an act to disenfranchise the other 3 parties? They are on the ballot, and they're seeking your votes, and also they have their agendas. So why didn't we hear from them? Why? I don't understand that. But one thing I can say, I can see clearly now why. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Naram Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show. And welcome to everyone that's watching from wherever you are in the world. Tell us in the comment section. And also, we're going to open the phone lines tonight. It's the eve of election day. I want to hear from you. So, ladies and gentlemen, as we normally do, we start with 2 jokes. Goodness gracious me, and we're going to start right now.
Hi, present day, my name is Blake. I'm just wondering how you're doing, Mr. Great. Good. It's so wonderful to hear you're doing great. But did you know you win $1 million today? Oh, and a lot of sweet things. But hear me out, this is all you get paid. What? Listen me, your check is on the way. What? But you gotta pay your fees, that okay? Yes. Everybody a chop now. Me make union lock down. Customs bust down. Fuck when the new Benz drop down. Say, chop, chop, chop now. Can't stop me, moon cock not now. Nah, 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 no. No, nah, 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 no. Are you now able to pay the fee? Yes. Okay, this is what I want you to do for me. What? Did you say there's a Western Union down the street? Yes. Okay, I need for you to send us the money. How much? It's just a little small fee, 35,000 US, but today you send 3. Are you crazy? Sir, I want you to listen to me.
Ladies and gentlemen, in true Narang fashion, we gotta play the second joke. Here we go.
When Cash Plus fail, somehow Andrew get the money a couple of weeks before it fail. When All-In fail, somehow Andrew get the money a couple of weeks before it fail. When SSL fail, somehow me want to know who's this brother over man, because this brother has a clairvoyant, this brother can see the future. Yeah, you understand? Yeah. So when everybody else lose, somehow him win with him power. See? So who really gain off the backs of the people? See? Now, remember this brother will grow by 36% a year now. So the brother skill. If this brother is so skilled, how him not carry the skill like how we as a country grow 1%? So how him can grow we like how him grow himself? You understand where I come from? From nothing. From student loan, I put out him picture in a newspaper. Seeing from 2 space taxi. Because me never take a taxi yet. You know? Yeah. No, me ask whoever. It's like how you can say I take on time. Who film taxi did here? You get me? And what the route? And where the route? And did it have all the rules when I put in against taxi now? Because if me reach have a taxi, you know, me bias to taxi, you know. Me I try make taxi run. The man carrying in drive, in carrying Uber, pan same taxi them if them they come in pan him that reach so. You get to me I come from him say them if you have a car seat permanent or when not pick in a night car. You get to me I come from. So when you look on how the dog treat, that means in switch then, in reach and switch. In lucky door, pan everybody. Yeah.
Oh. Well, so the door lock. Ladies and gentlemen, the winds of change are stronger now. They're extremely strong. So we said the winds of change has engaged the sails of victory. Will these winds be strong enough to avoid the shores of defeat? That we'll know soon. We're gonna play another video here. We're gonna dive deep into the politics right now, because like, share, subscribe, comment, and click that notification bell, and let me know if you want to call in at some point and air your views respectfully. Gotta warn you, respectfully. I'll cut you off if we have any shenanigans. All right, so you can send it in the comment section. Like, share, subscribe, comment, and let me know if you want to say a word or two. It's the eve of elections. Welcome back. So we heard about we heard a lot of things, a lot of promises, especially from the prime minister, who has been there for 9 years. And I wish he had done things in the opposite way, in terms of looking after the poor people first. You know what I mean? What he's proposing now, he would have tried to test it along the way to see if it works, and then, deal with their salary and all that last. It would have looked better for him. This is what he's saying, an untested. He did not say this before the debates, so it could have been talked about. He said it late, just before election day, and I don't think he thought this through clearly. I think he's rattled. He's showing signs of nervousness, and as a leader, I don't think he's too confident based on what he's throwing out late in this stage of the election. Let me put this on here about the doubling of the minimum wage, and I'm going to dive into that for you in a few minutes, in a couple of minutes. So let's bring that on stage. Let's share that with you, and then I'm going to dive into it and let you know what that means for Jamaica. All right, so let's see. Here we go. All right, so we got it here all queued up, and I'm going to put that on, and you're going to hear for yourself what the Prime Minister said on the penultimate day of the election. This is unprecedented. So let's go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen.
So over the next few years in our third term, we will double the minimum wage from $16,000, what we have carried it to now, having almost tripled it, to $32,000.
In a powerful mass rally last night in Spanish Town, Prime Minister Andrew Holness captivated a massive crowd with a bold announcement. The highlight of his address was the pledge to double the national minimum wage from $16,000 to $32,000, a declaration that sent waves of excitement through the thousands of supporters gathered. This promise to significantly increase the earnings of Jamaica's lowest paid workers became the central topic of the rally and was met with an overwhelmingly positive response.
We will double the minimum wage from $16,000, what we have carried it to now, having almost tripled it, to $32,000.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, that's unprecedented. And that's also untested. It's untested, ladies and gentlemen. So, over the 9 years of the JLP government, they have not lived up to the expectation of especially the poorer class. These are my opinions. These are the poor class of Jamaicans. The JLP leaders would like you to think that making promises immediately before the general election, this is enough for Jamaicans to accept it. The JLP government boasts about the very basic achievements that any government in power is expected to achieve for its people. However, it took the JLP 9 years to achieve a fraction of their basic responsibilities. Now that the JLP is back is against the wall, now that their backs are against the wall, their time has run out. Therefore, the JLP is forced to make bold promises in a desperate bid to win votes. The Jamaican people can see behind the JLP's veil that hides their incompetence, and there's a loud echo, the time has come. Now, let me talk about the teachers. Let me talk about the output workers and the sugar workers who are not receiving their pensions. Let me talk about the price or the cost of living, the road conditions, water. 9 years later, this should not be a promise for a third term. It should have been something that is achieved. No matter how you look at it, no matter what your justification is, those things should have been being worked on over the 9 years, over and across the entire Jamaica, because we've been independent since 1962. So no election should be, when a party is in power for 2 terms, no election should be on promises of the basic necessities that should have been realized in or during their term. So therefore, let me look at this minimum wage, and I'm going to do the calculations for you, ladies and gentlemen. And sorry for the late start. It took me a while to prepare, but I'm prepared. So let's look at the basic minimum wage that was before June of 2025 was $15,000 per 40-hour week. And if you multiply that by 52, that would give you about 780,000 Jamaican dollars per year, approximate. So that's about, so let's look at the current minimum wage that he bumped it up around about, was it June, May, June, or July? Well, I think it was June, and added another $1,000, which was $16,000 per week. 40-hour week, 52 weeks is $832,000. A difference of $52,000 a year. So it would appear that $832,000 approximately is about 5,547 US dollars. So it was bumped up another approximately another 347 US dollars. So you're ended up with $52,000 more per year, which was that was the increase in June. So that is approximately a 7% increase of the minimum rate, the minimum wage recently. So as you just heard, just on the penultimate day of the election, he's proposing doubling the minimum wage. That's 100% increase in one term. He said in his third term, in one term, 100% increase. Now, that's $32,000 per week, 40-hour week, 52 weeks. That's 1,664,000 Jamaican dollars per year. That's equal to approximately 11,093 US dollars per year. The difference is $832,000. That's the 100% increase from $16,000 per week to $32,000, which it equates to a doubling of the minimum wage. So let me point this out to you. That's 100% increase. He just had 7% increase on the minimum wage. That's 107% increase over the next term. Now I want you to listen carefully. Do your own math, okay? You can do it on your phone. This would be a severe shock to the Jamaican economy, a very severe shock. Now, the mere mention of it, just to mention that, the mere mention of a monumental increase of the minimum wage of this colossal magnitude has sent shockwaves throughout the entire business sector around the globe and has rattled the Jamaican diaspora in a negative way. This economic blunder will cause even the most liberal investor to rethink investing in Jamaica. This untested announcement which was made this late after the debates. The ramifications of this decision made by Prime Minister Andrew Holness could potentially cause all investors and potential investors to rethink their Jamaican investment plans. That's a fact. Now, ladies and gentlemen, let's think about this carefully. Let's think about it carefully. And before I go into the economic impacts of comparing both Andrew Holness's doubling of the minimum wage and the impact of raising the income tax threshold by Mark Golden, I'm going to let Oral Tracy tell you something that you should know. This is basic stuff. So let me get Oral Tracy up here. And he said something that I share his views. And that's a fact. Because the poor people of Jamaica are suffering. The basic responsibilities of the government are not achieved. They achieved only a fraction of what they're supposed to achieve for the people. There was nothing monumental, earth-moving decisions here. You get what I'm saying? So let's look at it from Oral Tracy. Then I'm going to dive into the economic impacts of both their statements. So let's get that on stage right now so you can see what I'm talking about. So here we go. Let's get this up here. Hold on a second, guys. I'm the only one in studio. So let's get this. Here we go. Nope. All right, we got it. So let's get Oral Tracy to just give you his views. And I share these views. So here we go. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. 1 second.
You two family and the Maverick in this place again. Still with the best and most credible opinion, still fair and fearless analysis. But something up on my mind today. Now the middle of the politics season here. It has to do with politics, but it's not really political. It's more about Jamaica and us Jamaicans and the standards where we set for ourselves and the standards where the politician them set for we and where we allow the politician them to set for we. May I watch the election campaign? Obviously everybody into it. It have a vibes about it this time around and it's a close campaign, so it have a lot of intrigue about it. But me I look beneath the surface and me hear the JLP administration a campaign plan them achievements. And them a wax lyrical about the things that they did and they've done over the past 2 terms. Them a tell about the economy, how stable the economy is and the foundation that's been built. This is 9 almost 10 years of being in government, you know. The economy will grow by me understand 1%. I don't know if there's a margin of error when you measure something like economic growth. But in the region of 1%, the economy will grow right now. big part of them campaign platform is the dent where them put in the murders and crime. 40% reduction in murders and serious crime. Another big part of the resume is the road them where them a patch up all over the place. Them a patch some road, the highway structure there, but the government build them there, A foreign investors build all of the highway them where you see around the island. So the government responsibility are really the roads them in the communities. So since the election, they say, oh, patching a one, bank patching this. Of course, there's a health sector, which is always a big problem. You see, what ribbon a cut and the thing down a month to be the Cornwall regional, the big one down there. Me say a ribbon cut. Must if you want dining room down the cause that hospital a repair from what kill fill up and done repair. But ribbon cut same way. The point for me I make is you realize the things that the government a campaign pan and a sing them own praises pan and a beat them chest pan as high achievement and the basic fundamental level. Jamaica murder rate was there. We used to kill 50 or 60 to 100 people every year. And now we carry it down to 1,000. And I'm gonna jump up and down on a stage and talk about them do brilliantly with crime. When we have an economy, we grow by 1%. And them a jump and prance on stage and put this to your face as big achievement. When we health center them and we hospital, they don't have medicine and bed for poor people when them sick. But they go around their countryman and boast about it as a big achievement. When the roads in the communities of Jamaica coming like the road, then we must sit down at Iraq. When the war did down there around Palestine. When we road them full with patrol. When we schools are struggling to educate with children them. And these shameless politicians, they on stage and jump and shout and talk about achievement. People, the thing them when them boast and jump and shout pan with minimal success in a living up to them obligation, These are the things that them get paid $15 and $20 million a year for, These are the things that members of parliament are collecting millions of taxpayers' money for. The basic fundamentals. This coming like a teacher going to the class and set a lesson plan. And the kids do the work. And then pass the course. And the teacher jump up and down and talk about she do something extraordinary. That is your job. That is your duty. Why we patch to road in a two community and the politician them take it through in our face? Why we are growing the economy by 1%? And a politician are going to make say him the greatest government since independence. Why is it that we used to kill 1,500 and 1,600 people every year in Jamaica? And we cut it down to 1,200 now or 1,000 now. And it's a massive achievement. That is what governments are there to do. That is what you take taxpayer money, pay on yourself 300% increase to do. And you take it throwing at people's face like high achievement. You just style Jamaicans. These are basic fundamentals, people. That's the point where I'm making. These are not things that people should be campaigning about as high achievements, people. Are basic fundamentals. Law and order, education, health, security for people, live them life and grow them family, and the environment to set up businesses and make a living. So investments can come in. These are basic fundamentals. Taxpayer money. Pay them handsomely. And to add the insult to injury. These are the same people that give themselves a 300 or 400% increase. $15 and $20 million a year them get as members of parliament. And look on the road them in the community. And if them throw some mal on one of them and patch it out, them throw it on your face. Say, see what I do for you? What you do for me? You do what you're supposed to do and you're not even doing it properly. Jesus Christ. People who see the standards where we set for ourselves and the standard where we allow the politicians to set the way. We know the excitement of the campaign and no one Labor right a jump up and PNP a jump up. And the feel good factor there. And the song them nice and everything. But me I look beneath the surface, people. Beneath whether PNP win or Labor right win. The standards we set for ourselves too low. It is disgracefully low. People should not be boasting about doing their jobs. They should be boasting about doing things exceptional, doing things additional, going beyond the call of duty. Them do not meet the requirements of them duty, and them are boast on it. You know, see something wrong with it? Tell me if you don't understand what I say. I don't know if I explain it right. Come in here to be upset about it, you know. I don't know if me one realize it. Come in here, you don't know the highly sophisticated and educated analysts them and make that observation, yeah. Me don't see it. Man patch through road like community and a boast about it. Man give the police force to some technology to fight the crime when them supposed to do and a boast about it. See a big achievement. You're supposed to fix up the schools and fix up the hospitals. Never boast about it. We economy stagnant. I grow at less than 1% and them a boast about it. You know, so that mean Jamaicans do good. When you set that kind of bar for Jamaicans and what we should be satisfied and happy about, then I mean we no good. And at the same time, them give themselves a 300% increase for them pocket good. Eh? But election come on and they sang them nice so everybody a jump up and everybody happy. And we are going to go back on the cycle for the next 5 years again. When we see the man them a jump on prance and I beat them chest for some basic fundamentals. That's your duty. That's what you get paid for. That's what you took a 300% pay increase for. To deliver some service for the citizens of the country. You don't do nothing exceptional. If you go up on the stage and say, look at what I did. You don't do nothing out of the normal than we are a policeman do when he go work a shift and risk him life. Or we are nurse do when she bleach pan a graveyard shift to go take care of sick people at the hospital. Or we are teacher do when she go into the classroom with 50 at picnic without enough desk to sit pan, without chalk to write on the board. You don't do nothing more exceptional than them people. And yet still you give yourself 300% increase. And barely achieving the basic fundamentals of your responsibility. And I take it chop on people like you do people a favor. You hear me, man?
Ladies and gentlemen, that's my sentiment. And I've been saying this in multiple podcasts because the poor people are suffering. Poorer class of people are feeling the brunt. The prices are not down. Wages are not going up. Employment, I don't hear about any new factories here. I don't hear about any new factories. I don't see the government investing in the people at the grassroots in the way that they should be doing it. It's not happening. So let's die. I want to say that the government had a pay increase, what, 200-300%, and now your basic responsibility, you have not completed all your basic responsibilities in 2 terms, and you're boasting about that. As Oral Tracy said, that's my sentiment. Sir Rattigan talks about the buses. What? You have a basic responsibility and you're entrusted to spend the taxpayers' money and get the best value for money. And this is what you did? And you're boasting about it? Come on. Our people are not that stupid. However, let's look at, I'm going to say welcome back to Naram Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show, ladies and gentlemen. I welcome. A lot of you are watching. You know, the numbers are ticking up. I can see you watching on screen. I say welcome. Thank you for being here. And this is Naram Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show, where we give you the real deal. Please comment, like, share, subscribe, and click that notification bell. Please keep this family-friendly show alive. If you want to dial in a few minutes, in about 20 minutes or so, we're going to open the phone lines. If you want to dial in and talk respectfully about your positions and about the election, about the elections for right now, then you can say it in the comment section. Tell me, and I'll see how many people want to call in, and then I'll open the phone lines. If no one says anything, then I won't open the phone lines. All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, let me step back a little bit here to discuss the economic effects of two issues here. That's the raising of the minimum wage to 32,000, doubling the minimum wage in such a short period, in one term. There was a 7% increase, and you're proposing now a 100% increase in a very, very short time. What are the economic impacts? Also, moving the income threshold to 3.5 million? What are the economic impacts of that? Let's dive into the first one. What are the economic effects of raising the minimum wage? Let's look at it. Raising the minimum wage has complex and debated economic effects, including the potential for increased earnings and also consumer spending, alongside the risk of higher unemployment for certain groups and rising consumer prices. The actual impact can depend on factors like the size of the increase, the local economic conditions, and how business choose to adapt. Let's look at the positive effects. Higher wages and it can cause higher wages, and it can reduce poverty in the short term. That's no doubt. For workers who keep their jobs, an increased minimum wage translates to higher earnings and a higher standard of living. Some studies indicate that moderate increases can lift families out of poverty and reduce reliance on government assistance. It can also stimulate consumer spending. That's no doubt. You get more money, you're going to spend more. Higher wages can low wage workers they're more likely to spend additional income immediately on goods and services. That will add to inflation. That's the risk. This increased consumer demand can stimulate economic growth and benefit local businesses in the short term. Lower employee turnover is also a key factor when you increase their wages. But when you increase it at such a rapid rate, let's look at the downfall on that. It can also increase productivity, because if you feel good, you earn more, you're going to produce more, right? All right, so you're going to work with your employer. It can also reduce income equality. That's kind of relative. By boosting the earnings of the lowest paid workers, a minimum wage increase can help shrink the gap between the top and bottom earners. That's true to a point. And also, let's look at the negative effects. Potential job losses. When labor costs rise, some business may cut staff, and that's a fact. So if you think about it, you have a little restaurant or bar. Check that out. Remember, you increase the minimum wage, so me I buy more, so that demand for goods and services causes inflation, so that the prices rise. So if the price rise, and me employer in a little bar for pay 32,000, I'm going to pay a whole lot more for the bottle of rum, because rum I sell. Where me get the money from to pay you 32,000 for the week? The restaurant, they might lay off. So it will cause massive, that's a massive shock to the economy. Who going open a bar now or a restaurant? You mad? It will cost me too much, just like the farmers right now. How much you have for a bag of fertilizer? How much water for farm? It out of many farmers reach. So the youth them say, what me I gonna do? What me I farm about? Me I farm fat. Me I gonna end up with more money than what me I gonna make. Think about it. So one of the other negative effects here is increased automation. That's a big deal. Look at the United States. You notice most of the banks them don't have tellers anymore. They're saying they're not accepting money. I forgot it. ATM. That's an automated service. So it takes out the human element out of it. Because guess what? It's cheaper to run the robot and the machine than to employ the human element, the human person. Higher consumer prices. Businesses can pass increased labor costs onto consumers in the form of higher prices. So if you make up the money, if you pay the people more work at the higher minimum wage, you must raise the price. Ladies and gentlemen, let's look at some other effects. And this is the ultimate economic impact of raising the minimum wage is not universally agreed upon and can vary significantly depending on several factors. The size of the increase is one of them. A large, rapid increase is more likely to cause negative employment effects and price shocks than a smaller, more gradual increase. Now you're talking about 100% over the next term. You remember what I said earlier that these shocks, let me kind of remind you what I said earlier. And I've been to the School of Economics, and that's George Mason University in Virginia. And that's where I got my business administration degree as well too. So I'm an economics bird, you know what I mean? I know it inside out. I don't know everything, but the basics I do know. And I'm saying that these shocks, sudden shocks to the economy, will cause investors to rethink their position. It will cause people to rethink even opening businesses. It is not normal, ladies and gentlemen. What's going to happen? We're talking about poverty. And that's at an escalated rate. It's going to happen real quick. So let's look at the economic conditions. If the effect of a minimum wage increase may differ between periods of strong economic growth and periods of sluggish growth or recession, we're in stagnation in Jamaica right now. It's stagnation. The economy is growing at what? Just below 1% or roundabout there. I have to take off my glasses because the light and bright, you know, that's why I'm wearing glasses. So what do you think? Let's look at the type of markets. The impact on that can depend on the competitiveness of the labor market, and in less competitive markets, employers may have more room to absorb increased wage costs without cutting jobs. So, ladies and gentlemen, tell me something right now. Do you see employment rising? Do you see opportunities rising at a level that you want to shock the economy by increasing the minimum wage? You tell me. To double it, in 4 years. Double. You just increase it 7%, and you want to move it another, I'd say 10, 12% over the next year, as you in the beginning of your third term. If you get there, that's what you promise. So that would be somewhere around 15%. That's a big shock to the economy, a huge shock, because it was raised exponentially to 15,000, then to 16,000. Now you want to go another 10 or 12%. And then from there, you're going to rise it rapidly. So with any future plans or any business plan, you have to build out, and also you have to account for all the algorithms that in the economy to calculate your projected profit, and then to build out to that and start the business. Or if you're in the business, what investments you have to make, what changes you have to make in order to survive. So the instability of shocking the economy of the minimum wage. I'm not saying it shouldn't be you shouldn't rise the minimum wage, but not like that. You're gonna put the Jamaican people in poverty, and the poorer people are already in poverty. Because if you do that, that's irresponsible. Ladies and gentlemen, it's not an easy road. And that tells me that the Prime Minister is not thinking. He's rattled and he's nervous. So if you want to do that, the next thing you have to say, and you should have said this a long time ago and started this at the beginning of your term, fix up the poor people in first. If you wanted to make this decision in a responsible way, you'd be tying the minimum wage to inflation or medium wage growth, so that medium wage growth can prevent its value from eroding over time and provide more predictability for businesses. That is part of the reasoning, but there's no reason to do what he said. That's a pipe dream. And especially when he said over time, that could be 100 years from now. So that's gerrymandering. Let's look at, ladies and gentlemen, let's change gears here to Mark Golding's proposal. Let's look at that carefully. What are the economic impacts of increasing the income tax threshold? He stated that he wanted to move the income tax threshold from where it is to 3.5 million Jamaican dollars. That means you have a tax break in there. Andrew Honey says $6 million. That's a desperate move. The 3.5 million threshold is a sweet spot. Tell you why. Here we go. Increasing the income tax threshold, the income level at which individuals begin paying income tax, that's what it is, directly benefits lower income individuals and affects the broader economy in several ways. It stimulates consumption, alters income distribution, and reduces government revenue. That's a fact. But he told us that now that we're past the time of austerity and the debt is under control, which was dealt with by multiple governments. It's not the JLP government alone. It was the PNP and the JLP, but the PNP had set that in motion prior to the JLP coming into power. So they had to follow that rule. So while it affects the government revenue, with the overall economic impact depending on the scale of change and the existing economic conditions. What is the existing economic condition? We're in stagnation or stagflation. That's what's happening right now. Prices are high, wages are low, and there's not a lot of outs. There's not a lot of options here. So, impact of consumer spending. So, with raising the income tax threshold, let's see the impact. It boosts disposable income for low wage earners. The most direct effect is that people below or just above the former threshold have more take home pay or disposable income. Because lower income individuals typically have a high marginal propensity to consume, meaning they spend a larger portion of each extra dollar they earn. This policy can lead to a significant increase in consumer demand that can drive inflation. So therefore, it can also this increase in the threshold can also stimulate aggregate demand. What do I mean? The increased spending power can translate into higher aggregate demand for goods and services across the country. This can lead to increased business revenue and potentially to business expansion and job creation. This effect is particularly potent during periods of weak economic activity. We're in stagflation. So the impact on income distribution, it reduces income equality, minimal effect on the wealthy. So let's dive into those aspects. So the increase in the income tax threshold is considered not as drastic as the increase of the doubling of minimum wage. So, as I said, it's a sweet spot that the Mark Golding has proposed. When it reduces income inequality by reducing or eliminating the tax burden on the lowest earners, and an increased tax threshold directly increases their after-tax income relative to higher earners. This makes the tax system more progressive and can help reduce income inequality. Here's a minimal effect on the wealthy. For high income earners, an increase in the tax threshold has a negligible effect on their overall tax liability, as their income is taxed at much higher rates. The sweet spot. So you're not going into the super rich, and you're lifting the burden off the super poor. It's what I call the sweet spot. Now, what's the impact on government revenue? Decreased tax revenue, that means raising the income tax threshold necessarily reduces the amount of revenue collected by the government, as fewer people are paying taxes and those at the lower end of the tax brackets are paying less. However, we are out of the period of austerity. The debt is under control, so you have more money is being freed up, so you can counterbalance that. You get what I'm saying? So it's called a sweet spot. Potential of offsetting revenue. The loss of tax revenue can be partially or fully offset if the subsequent increase in consumer spending and economic activity broadens the tax base through other means such as increased sales tax revenue. So you increase the threshold, it increases and it frees up the poor people to spend a little bit more. Guess what them all pay? Tax, GCT. So it kind of counterbalance the thing. You understand me? Anyway, the increase in the threshold also depends on economic conditions. During a recession, the tax revenue decrease might be significant and affect the government's ability to fund public services. However, the economy is strong, the impact may be less severe. So therefore, you're in stagflation. So so weak, but it's not strong. It's stagflation. That's why I said that 3.5 million threshold is called a sweet spot. That's the balance between both ends. And Mark Golden hit the point. He was on point. So let's look at the overall economic effects. The overall economic impact on the economy depends on how government finances the reduction in tax revenue. As I said, austerity is over, the debt is under control. Now you would focus on getting people moving, feeling good, creating jobs, growing the economy. The government, if it is offset by cuts in spending, the impact on the aggregate demand may be muted. If the revenue loss is added to the budget deficit, it could lead to higher interest rates in the long term, which could decrease national savings. Now, remember I said the sweet spot? There's an offset. So therefore, there's a lot more money freed up, especially when you grow the economy. There's more spending for that from the lower income bracket. It increase tax revenues, and then it free up one little thing for save. And we're going to talk about savings in a little bit. And let's look at the impact on inflation. If the economy is already near its full potential, a policy that boosts aggregate demand could create inflationary pressure. Conversely, during a recession, the same policy could help stimulate the economy without increasing inflation. And that's where we have stagflation. This could kickstart the economy. Kick it up a little bit. Not by shocking it, but kicking it up. So if you think differently, say it in the comment section, or you can talk about it on the phone if you think I'm wrong. However, let's look at a video here and the light is bright in my eyes. Okay, here we go. Yeah, let's look at a video about this, the last, they call it the last lie of Andrew Holness. So let's look at this and let's dive into it. I want you to listen to it, then I'm going to hit another point. So let's see. Here we go. Here we go. And okay. So we're going to touch into this video right now. Let me bring it on my screen here. And you be the judge of it. I think this is what's a lot of people are saying in the streets, and we're gonna dive into this real quick, and then I'll comment on it afterwards. So it's by Jamaican Carlos, and a disclaimer, guys, adults only to listen to this one. Here we go. Let's get that started.
Andrew Holness, come here. Look like a fool to take me for. No, all the way I know idiot, you know. You're not tired for fool up the labor right there. You're not tired for fool up the labor right there. Imagine you're supposed to go to school to come back and educate the people them, but you strive within the people them illiteracy. You need the people them to be done so you can survive, get richer. It seems we can teach them a lot of tricks and trade and tell them a lot of nonsense. Look here, man. How is it you're going to give these people $32,000 a week, which is 100% raise? Follow me, people. Look here. You never go to school for this. The dunce man in the room can understand this clearly. You're going to give the people them minimum wage, 100% raise. Last time you hear them the type of raise, they uno take it for yourself. Uno, politician, greedy, 300%. The last time you hear them the type of raise there, uno take it for yourself, 100% raise. So no, if you say the people them for believe, say I'll give them 100% raise. Eh? So 16,000 ton, $32,000 overnight, like where you that? Do you think you can go to Mr. Chin with that? Or tell Mr. Chin say, if I forgot double up the work of them pay. Mr. Chin don't pay minimum wage right now at 13,000, them sitting Mr. Chin pay right now. You think you can go to the hoteliers with that and tell them to double up the hotel workers and pay? Can you go to PSOJ with that, the bullshit there? That the bullshit where out of your mouth is just made for the crowd of dunce labor right we are talk to. We are say, yay, after talk the mouth full of crap. Do you think you can go against the hotel owner go talk that and them businessman in Jamaica? You think you can bring that to Chinese man? The only people can bring them the fat the two are the stupid labor at them in the crowd we are talk to. Get down a little bit. No, civil servant must get 0% raise. Listen to me, people. Follow me. If you are giving teachers and police officers 0% raise for a whole year, when are you going to give minimum wage that? When are you going to double it up? When are you going to raise minimum wage to 32%? Listen to these people. Follow the maths. Police and teachers, 0% raise in the first year. The second year is 2.5% raise. The third year, it is 2.5%. The fourth year, it is 2.5%. So 0% the first year, you don't get no raise. The second year, you get 2.5. Third year, 2.5. The fourth year, 2.5. That's an additional. When you add that up, you get 7.5% raise in 4 years. That is police and teachers and them. So now you want to tell me that you gonna raise the minimum wage to 100% when teachers and police have to wait for 4 years to get 7.5%. Look at it, people. 7.5% raise in 4 years. They have to wait to get that. And they want to tell me, say, but you're going there, you're gonna raise a wand, a magic wand, and double up minimum wage to $32,000 a week. Then might as well police quit and they'll start go report baggage down at the China man and go do some cashier work. You think such man can go to the Chinese man with that?
And I want to make a disclaimer here, because what he said about in the first year, we must correct that. Andrew Honey said that he would do that, raise it to 18,000 the first year and so on, and then keep on raising it in the first term, and by the end of his first term, it would get to $32,000. So that's over a 4-year period. So let's
want to stop take the Jamaican people for fool. Stop take the people for fool. Not no go so. These are the biggest lie ever talk in the history of you running in a politics, brother. This is one of the biggest hot load of mess you left give the people on their way out. On their way out at the final rally. You tell them this a liar. You know, say nothing can go so people. May I ask, put in the comment section, is there anybody who will listen to this argument and what me explained to you a while ago? Think that you're going to get no 100% raise from Andrew Honest? and minimum wage is going to go up to $32,000 under him. Think about it. You have 10 years to make that move. Now you look them vote on your way out when you realize that you lose. People, comment section, please write it in there. Is there anybody here dumb enough to believe that Andrew Holness is going to give him $32,000 a week? May I ask you now? When police and teachers will get 0% raise for one whole year, in 4 years it's 7.5%. How is it minimum wage is going to raise by 100% raise, people? 100%, they go from 16 to 32. But you only can look on teachers, police, and a 7.5% and tell them that's all they can do. People, Andrew Holness, stop fool up the people. You have fool up the people. You have fool up the people. This is one of the biggest hot mess of lie you ever tell. May I ask again before me let off? Is there anybody here who believe that Andrew Holness is going to be delivering on that? Remember, the first 100-day promise not come true yet, like set date for election, term limit for prime minister, and impeachment process for crooked politician. That's the first 100-day promise, you know, what should happen from 2016. So we get a 2016 manifesto, not no hot more tight. 2020 manifesto, not more tight. They might give you a 2025 manifesto. You must be an idiot figure read it. Me don't even read that, so me don't even get this up here. Me not gonna waste my time. I mean, yeah, I said figure read that nonsense. It's pure lie. So now get back to the question. Do you really believe that such man is gonna give you $32,000 a week? They know you want to give police and teacher them 7.5% in 4 years. We're not damn ass.
Ladies and gentlemen, again, as I said, the winds of change have hit the sails of victory. Is that wind strong enough to avoid the shores of defeat? You tell me in the comment section. So let me step a little bit further, because for those who are going to vote tomorrow, this is your last chance to really think about what you heard on the campaign trail. It's kind of sudden, you know. And the rum season done as of tomorrow night, right? All the free money, I hope you save some for send the youth them go to school. And the taxi fare and all them thing there. So that done tomorrow. You understand me? So whichever party win, you get a little bit more rum, and I eat that. You get when I say the celebration. So here you go. So let's look at Damien Crawford for a second. When he's talking about savings, about what really saved the JLP over the last 2 terms. This is interesting because I need you to hear this, because he said this in the House of Parliament, right? So let's check this out, guys, because this is a big deal. This is a very, very big deal, ladies and gentlemen, and I want you to hear it. Let's look at it. Here we go. Let's get it on our screens. All right. In a second, it's coming up. All right. Let's see. Am I missing this? Okay. Oh, here it is. I just found it, ladies and gentlemen. I didn't get a chance to put everything in order, but it is now. So let's get that on the screen, and you listen to this for a second, and you tell me if you can make sense out of this, if what you're hearing is correct. Tell me in the comment section.
No, they say they save for a rainy day. I hear the finance minister said, oh, we save, and when we save, we can spend, and we can save for a rainy day. They said the PMP is not the saving party. Well, let's analyze a rainy day, because COVID-19 was a rainy day. If there's ever a rainy day, COVID-19, let's analyze. Let's analyze. Me already tell you about that already. Lies will not win you this election. And now I got you a lie. But when COVID came, they depended on the NHS, which was created by the People's National Party. That is the PMP saving fund that they had to raise. Go on again, Sophie. I don't want to take too long. When COVID came, They depended on the Universal Access Fund. All of the spending for children to get access on the wireless, and that was PMP saving fund. Come again. They depending on the Tourism Enhancement Fund. Well, go on, man. Tell me again. We can beat them. They depended on NHC. Created by the People's National Party. E-learning Jamaica. PMP saving fund. JC. PMP saving fund. Come again. Chase fund. PMP saving fund. Had it not been for the PMP saving fund, they could not have executed 40 years ago. Where would we be? I give you no heart. I give you no heart. I rewarded Edward Siagafat. I gave him a plaque. He came to the dinner. He wasn't as what do you call it now? Biased as you. He came to the PMP-YO's dinner, and I gave him a plaque. Look, NHT, created by the PMP in 1976. Michael Manley. Jamaica Social Investment Fund, 1996, PJ Patterson. Chase Fund, 2002, PJ Patterson. National Health Fund, 2003, PJ Patterson. E-Learning Jamaica, 2003, PJ Patterson. Tourism Enhancement Fund, 2004, PJ Patterson. Universal Access Fund, 2004. Did you see Andrew Holness' name up here? No. All part, but part wasn't a source of funds. So it wasn't the saving fund. But it's a program that they're depending on. But I'm showing you that how is it that the band raiders are saying that they're better than the farmers of the corn? Argument. No, they say they save for a rainy day. I hear the finance minister say, oh,
you be the judge of that, because those are facts, right? But we're not done this yet. We're not done yet. You know, let's look into, and I'm gonna slide through these. Let's check this out. You know, I like to give you the facts, and you be the judge of it. So let's hear from Mr. Mark Golden himself. You know, this is about the $3.5 million threshold. All right, let's talk about that for a second. Here we go. All right, we're almost there, guys, because I've got to be switching screens. Here we go. All right, ready and queued up. Let's check this out. Get it on screen, and then let's hear it from the man himself.
When we launched our manifesto a couple of weeks ago, we said that we were going to be publishing another document summarizing the main points in our manifesto, but with a little icing on the cake too. And tomorrow we'll be launching that document. But there's something I want to give you a sneak preview of tonight. Now I hear the laborites are talking about adjusting the rate of income tax. But that is going to benefit those who are very, very wealthy more than it will benefit those who are less wealthy. Because the rate, once reduced for them, means that they will be paying less tax because they're earning more to begin with. We are going to deal with that matter in a way that benefits those who need it most. Under the PNP government that is to come, we will be increasing the tax threshold so that persons who currently pay tax at 25%, if they're earning up to $3.5 million a year, they will be paying tax at 0%. Under the next PNP government, we'll be raising the threshold to give them a tax-free income. Turn up the tin. Turn up the tin.
Ladies and gentlemen, you heard it from Mark Golden himself. And you remember I told you about the sweet spot? Yeah, that's the sweet spot he's talking about when he raises the threshold and not reducing the taxes to the rich. So Remember, let's look at Daryl Vaz. You remember this guy?
Will be work yeah. No one like you fast asleep. Reply tell us say, rise and trim your life, yeah. Here's a message on your seat.
You remember you
This man,
you're ladies and gentlemen, you remember this guy? Okay. The school bus debacle, you know what happened there. There was not value for money in terms of how much taxpayers' money they spent to get these old buses when they could have done much better with the taxpayers' money. But let's look at this man in his own constituency. This is just a few hours ago, or just a day ago or so. Let's check this out because this is pretty much interesting. Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, let's get that off there, and let's get back to regular programming. Let's get this moving here. Hold on a second, ladies and gentlemen. I gotta get it right. Oh, here it is. We got it. All right. So let's get it on the screen so that you can see it. I must put a disclaimer. Adults only. Listen to this one. Here we go. I tell you, it is amazing the things that are out there. You know, when you have cameras, technology, boy, I tell you, here we go.
you're right, boy. Me not take nothing from you. Me not take nothing from you.
And what they're this is Daryl Vaz's constituency. He's coming to talk to voters here and look at the roads. He's not been back there for what they're saying for 8 years. So they were.
Me not take nothing from you. Look at them motherfuckers that don't see which. Look at them motherfuckers which. Look, we have to go there.
And that's his constituents telling him to get out of the area because the roads he drove on to get to them after so many years has not been touched. And he's asking about water, and they're asking about what water. And he's saying they're ungrateful. Well, the people are suffering. As I said, the poor people are suffering, and they're bearing the brunt of what is going on. So you tell me, do you want more of the same or you want change? It's up to you. Here we go. So let's touch on Reason with Ratigan. You remember Ratigan, right? Okay. Let's touch Ratigan for a little bit. Okay, here we are. So let me get Ratigan on the stage here. Just a second, guys. Okay. So let's get Ratigan up here to say a few words. This was from his podcast, and you gotta listen to his podcast, okay? Because it's very, very informative. He's a friend of mine. So let's get him on the stage to tell you a few things about what is going on here. And that's Reason with Ratigan. You can find him on YouTube and also other social media platforms. So he's going to talk about a few things which I need you to listen to. And let's find his okay, I'm having difficulties finding his program, but we'll get to it in a few seconds. And that's he's exposing the lies here. And for some reason I cannot find his. Let's see where it's at. Okay. What it looks like here. La-di-da. And okay. So here it is. Let's get to it, guys. right here. Got it. So we're gonna put that on the screen for you to see right now. Here it is. And let's get that playing. Here we go.
No, that's not right. That's not right. You fire employees like that. You fire employees like that. And if you're independent, if you're an independent and objective thinker, if for no other reason, there are many reasons I can give you. I can talk to you about rooms. We're going to talk, but I was going to talk about that today. Rooms on the beach, where Minister Vaz was central to the sale of our land. Heavily discounted. Why the hell he never get the just like how him discount or them discount our birthright, the beaches and everything, them discount that, you know, rooms on the beach and the beaches and the surrounding here, them discounted from $13 million to $7 million. Why is it that him couldn't get the buses them discounted? Why? Why him couldn't say, hey, you know what? Give me the buses them and we'll give you a piece of beach. We'll give you a little piece of beach. What? I'm just being facetious, but what I'm saying is that he was willing, and the report is there. The Contractor General's report is there, and they're very critical of the role he played. I read it last night. Again, I read it last night. They're very critical of the role he played for the property to go from $13 million to $7 million. Think about that, people. This is a kind of board member. This is a kind of employee that you've put in charge of your business. Think about it. And then you're going to turn around and you're going to say, well, we will extend the employment. We're going to extend the employment. You're not performing the way that we expected, but you're going to turn a blind eye to it and just keep you employed. Come on, people. Come on. This is the same man who tried to get government property up near Blue Mountain, you know, and there's a public outcry. Why is it we don't hear the public outcry now? Why? This is the same man who was charged for corruption. Charged for corruption. This is the same man where we have a video where the man go through the red light like nothing, like I in backyard, them just drive through and him said the light did a malfunction. Yeah, said the light wasn't working. That's his version of the story, but the video shows something else.
It's approaching, the light is supposed to change. It wasn't working.
No, listen, people. Listen, there comes a time in your life, you know, where you find issues that are bigger than you, that you're willing to take a stand on. And here it is that Minister Vaz, nothing he does is going to affect me. Nothing he does in Jamaica is affecting me, except when I see what he's doing to my people. But nothing he's doing is going to affect me as an individual directly. But indirectly, when I see what he's doing to my people, it hurts me to my core. And I'm concerned about that. But what I'm more concerned about is the people who are being hurt. And them just say, I saw the thing set. Or them run up and down and get a 2-piece chicken and them happy with that. 2-piece chicken, 10,000, 20,000, whatever it is, a t-shirt, a cap. And that is going to feed you now for the next 4 years, 4 or 5 years. That is going to feed you. That is going to provide sustenance. That are your bickle for the next 4 or 5 years. God helps those who help themselves. And if you don't want to help yourself by firing your grossly incompetent, inconsiderate employee, and you want your employee mash up your business, then all I can do is just talk. That's all I can. And I'm willing to continue talking because I will never give up on you. Because I do believe that in a moment of epiphany, in a moment of silence, that it will resonate with you and say, you know what? We're not gonna say right, you know. You know what I'm right? And if you can share that message with somebody, and that person, before you can then share it with other people, is a groundswell movement that start from Dungasan ago. Then hopefully we'll see change in due course. In a short space of time, we'll see change. But as long as we sit back and accept these things and forget the role played by our ancestors to get us where we are now, as long as we forget the sacrifices made by those people, including our parents, because most of us will come from sufferation. And if you forget that, then we have more than a problem. We have a very serious problem. Bim, jump in.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that was Radigan. That was Reason with Radigan. And the sentiments are the same here. The winds of change have hit the sails of victory. Is it strong enough to avoid the shores of defeat? You will go to your beds tonight and wake up tomorrow to make a decision and who will lead your country. Is it more of the same, or you need change? The poor people are suffering. Prices are high. Things have not been done as promised. You're getting more promises after 9 years. You tell me, what's the definition of insanity? You tell me what that is in the comment section. Let's look at one more video here. This one more video has to do with change. Let's bring it on stage here, ladies and gentlemen. Hold on a second. I'm going to bring that video on stage right now. So here we go. All right. Here it is. And I'm going to put it on my screen right now, and we're going to touch that button. All right. Here we go.
Go and tell people in the morning, I tell people, I drive in van from we up the road, come down the road. So they live off a place. See that? They never live off a place. Just students who are in the whole place. No. Then come now. So we have to go left off a land. Students who put up we are in flag and sit them. See there? What I place them as if we left off a. So we are in the place. We tell them to vote them out. Vote out the labor right them. Vote them out.
Time come for the Jamaican people to step up to a better life. I am here tonight because I know that the People's National Party will protect the foundations of our economy and ensure that it is an economy that works for all and not just for a few. I don't know who watched the debate the other night. The first one, PNP win. The second one.
I'm the CFO of a company with about 300 employees.
Let's get that off our screens and go back to regular programming. Here we go.
Bigger. And Marty G take the fellow outside and beat and teach. But on the night when them talk about the economy, I hear two ministers assault the truth in the most wicked way that the good Lord hates. And them can't get rid of it. One of them said that the PNP last administration bring a wrecking ball to the Jamaican economy. The only wrecking ball that was around was in her brain that night. Make I tell you about the facts, because it is just not true what you say. The economic stability that now exists in Jamaica was established by the People's National Party during the administration led by Governor Portia Simpson Miller. And we don't, after the previous administration led by Bruce Golding, the Green Golding, mash up and wreck the economy of Jamaica. They entered an IMF program in 2010 and could not pass it, could not cross it. The IMF stopped lending to them after they failed to take the test. The World Bank stopped lending to them. The Inter-American Bank stopped lending to them. The European Union stopped lending to them. We could not get $1 anywhere. And the Prime Minister now of Jamaica knows it, because when Bruce Golding carried him to Washington to meet with the IMF, he came back to Mandeville and promised bitter medicine. He knew that there was a crisis then. We had to come back and fix the economy. It was a difficult program. All Jamaica sacrificed. Public sector workers sacrifice, pensioners sacrifice, the bankers sacrifice, and the people of Jamaica sacrifice. But you know why they sacrifice? Because they had confidence in the leadership of the People's National Party. They had confidence in the integrity of Comrade Portia Simpson Miller. They had confidence that we were a government of transparency. That's why we established EPOC and opened the books of the government to the people of Jamaica. Anybody could see all the facts about our economy. And I tell you, in the short time that we are there, we in the People's National Party administration passed every single IMF test that was put there. Every single one. And we met all the structural benchmarks, including some big legislation that strengthened the fiscal responsibility framework. And a lot of that is due to Mark Golding, who worked day and night, through the night, to make this happen. So I can tell you and tell the two ministers something. In 2010, inflation was 12%. In 2016, annual inflation was down to 3.7%. The NIR, which was less our reserves, the amount of foreign currency that you have, was less than 700 million in 2012, 2013, was 2.7 billion US dollars by the time we reached 2016. In 2016, the Jamaican economy grew 2% in the entire 10 years of the Holness administration. They have not seen 2% growth in the Jamaican economy.
I want you to rewind the tape or the podcast and listen to that. I'm gonna step it back a little bit because this is extremely important. Here we go.
In 2016, the Jamaican economy grew 2% in the entire 10 years of the Holness administration. They have not seen 2% growth in the Jamaican economy. We left them an economy that was growing at 2%. And in that same year, 2015, Bloomberg News in North America ran the Jamaica Stock Exchange as the #1 stock exchange in the world. Condition of an IMF program that will get the workers, the public sector workers, to sign up to 4 years of wage freeze, or we couldn't get a program. It wasn't the will of the PNP government. It was because the IMF said the economy couldn't be fixed of the damage that the Labour Rights, the government of the People's National Party. The Minister of Finance should be better than that. If she don't.
Ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen, I hear a loud echo. What it says? Time come. Ladies and gentlemen, let me play the final video. I'm going to talk to you about tomorrow's general election, and then we're going to close the show. Thank you, Hudlin Peter, for being on the show. You make a valid point. We talk the truth all the time. So let's share this video, and I want you to think carefully about what happened here. This is unprecedented. Okay, so let's get it on the screen, and then I'm going to talk to you briefly, and then we'll move on from there. Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. Let's get that started. Here we go.
This is the man. See the man there.
Woke up this morning and head to preschool. The Maroons showed up, and we were able to start the proceedings with the blowing of their bank.
God, I call upon you this moment, dear Jesus Christ, Almighty God. Cover us, dear God. Cover us, dear God.
Thereafter, the drums. The young people of Portland and their marching band was able to provide the live music and instrumentation.
March, we are march, 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 we are march.
Portland hot. We are bringing the heat in East Portland.
He has brought a new energy, a new spirit, a new vision.
It was a message sent to the laborites that time has come.
One Isaac, straight.
Right now we are at a crescendo, ready to take Portland from the hands of these wicked and uncaring family. A family that just think about themselves and never think about people of Portland.
Thank you, Mr. Buchanan. You have been duly nominated.
The heat turn up. We're hot and ready to take back East Portland.
Best way to make a statement is to put your ex beside the head.
This is the man. See the man there.
Ladies and gentlemen, Isaac Buchanan. Let me talk to you a little bit here, ladies and gentlemen. After all that I've presented to you, the decision is yours, but I'm saying to you this, that the winds of change have engaged the sales of victory. That's unprecedented. You see what I'm saying? Is this win strong enough to avoid the shores of defeat? That's for you to decide tomorrow. You, the voters, are the winds of change. Do you believe that, let's say this, are you going to stay with the same? You're going to keep the Jamaica Labour Party going? At given what is going on in the country, all the corruptions you've seen, all the poor people suffering, all this that they claim that they have done, which is the basic necessity of a government. Are you willing to take that risk on a promise after 9+ years? What do you think is going to happen in the next 4 years if what they promised you over 2 terms have not been accomplished? Think about it. Or do you want change? Because even though Mark Golden is untested in that position, he makes a plausible argument and the most compelling and sensible one. He has been in the background working for the people, as you heard just now, making sure that Jamaica had fiscal responsibility, and this is why he gave us fiscally responsible argument about how he would stimulate the lowest income people in Jamaica and how he'd grow the economy. I hear a loud echo from Jamaica. Wait, say. Time come. Ladies and gentlemen, the winds of change are stronger now. After what Andrew Honus said about raising the income tax threshold, not the income tax, sorry, the minimum wages to 32,000 in his 3rd term, that's a shock to the economy, and that will take a lot of investors out of the marketplace, and also will cause a sudden jerk to the small man. It may be temporary excitement, but the ramifications are going to be far and wide. That's big poverty you're talking about. You don't shock the economy like that. You don't use those languages, especially in a global environment where a lot of people are looking to invest billions of dollars into the country, and then you're going to say you're going to just shock them just like that. No, it doesn't work like that. The hotel industry, the tourist industry, the people who are in the service industry, the small man in the shops, the little bars and the corner, the little man who are selling goods, and him have to hire somebody, 32,000, what you talk about? So push prices out through the roof, and then you have to pay the 32,000, but you have to put the extra pan the money where you have to buy the goods for pay the man who are work for him or the woman. Common sense. Come on, man. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here. This is Naram Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show. We say to you, this is the time you have to think wisely. Consider yourself fortunate to be here to be able to vote and vote wisely. You've had 9 years of one government who has made promises over 2 consecutive terms, and they're making a 3rd promise of things that are basic that you should not be complaining about the road conditions. No. We're far past that. That could have been fixed 9 years ago or 4 years ago. We shouldn't be talking about water here. That's basic. Hospitals without beds and toilet paper. We shouldn't be doing that. Mothers and baby mothers and pregnant women and children, elderly, at clinics that them are born up in ICU, and they can't afford prescription. Don't bother going to the supermarket, because if you don't have upwards of 100,000, don't make sense. Farmers are suffering. High cost of production, planting the stuff, and when it goes to market, they lose. But you're importing millions of dollars of goods. What about the small man? That's to look after the poor people, and you'll win election until thy kingdom come. You got to look after the poor people. They need you. That's what they put you there for. They're in majority. You lead in such a way that employers give the basic necessities to employees that makes them comfortable and happy to work. Why did you just suddenly put $1,000 on minimum wage? Do that from the beginning, and you just see 10 terms. You get what I'm saying? You have to stimulate from the grassroots up. That's how it works. It's not from the top down. You're going to know trickle-down effect from the bottom up. Look after the least fortunate in society, because they need it. Kids are going back to school right now. The bus fare, the school fees, the school uniforms, food, taxi fares, everything is up. And you're saying promises. I hear a loud echo from Jamaica. Wait, say, time come. Me hear the echo. Goodness gracious me, ladies and gentlemen, this is Naram Promotions, the Real Deal podcast show, and we say thank you for being here. Think wisely. The winds of change are stronger now. You're going to vote tomorrow. We say vote early, vote wisely, but vote. And let your mind and heart tell you which way to go. We'll know by the end of the day what the results are. One has to win. One has to win. Who's going to lead the country into the future is up to you. You have the opportunity to think wisely tonight before you put your X beside wherever you want it to go. Think wisely, ladies and gentlemen. Think wisely. Think before you vote. So, always we say thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for being here, for being a part of the show. We'll be on tomorrow and Thursday as well, and maybe Friday, but Saturday is a definite, and Monday, PIP Mondays. However, think wisely. Vote wisely. Always pray when you're going out. Always pray when you're coming in. And more so, always remember, God is in control. Thank you for being here, ladies and gentlemen, and we'll see you at the next show. Naram Promotions is at you.